Welcome to the quintessential listening poetry online radio and YouTube podcast, streamed live from the heart of Washington, D.C. Here, you'll find a portal to vibrant voices, echoing souls, and an ongoing celebration of the extraordinary power of language. So, prepare yourself to join host Dr. Michael Anthony Ingram and his special guests as they explore traditional and spoken word forms of poetry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. My special guest is Noreen and Snyder. Originally from Columbia City, Indiana, Noreen is a poet and published author of 5 poetry books, 4 co-authored with her late husband, Gary A. Snyder. She strives to keep his memory and legacy alive by sharing his work. She is the founder and creator of the Facebook group, the Poetry Club, which has over 125,000 members. She hosts a Saturday night show at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as have a chat with Noreen monthly, where she interviews other poets and writers. A prolific creator, Noreen also designs greeting cards and crafts. She's currently working on a new book about grieving. Her poetry is featured in Bill Peters Sr.'s anthologies as well as other magazines. Noreen, welcome to the program.
Wow. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the warm welcome. It is an honor to be here, and I'm happy to be here.
Noreen, let's begin this poetic journey. What is poetry?
To me, poetry is all about how we feel, our experiences. It's about life, and it's about nature, about love. It could be anything you want it to be. Poetry is what comes from us, what comes out of your heart, out of your soul.
Out of your heart and out of your soul. Please tell me more about your belief.
Well, to me, it means, you write from your gut, always from your guts, and you should write how you feel, whether it's in free verse or another poetic form, whatever. You should pour your heart out, pour your guts out, and should write it.
Noreen, based on what you know about the world, is poetry important?
Yes, poetry is important. And let me give you an example. 2 days ago, I don't know if you've heard of it, Catwalk app. It's where you can earn coins and you can send it to for walking. Well, they have a Catwalk feed where you can communicate with others. Well, I asked them okay if I put poetry on there. So I started, and one guy, he said he wanted to hear more. And he told me, he found me on Reverb Nation too. He's my fan now. I'm his fan. Well, I can't, okay. And he said he got tired of them audiobooks. So he found poetry now through me. And now he said, poetry is interesting. I gave somebody an entrance in poetry because I put my poetry out there where you usually don't see poetry at on another app without poetry.
Very nice. Please share with me an early experience where you learned that poetic language had power.
I think when I was in school, and I was studying in school, Emily Dickinson, and she wrote a lot about death. And I remember we had to make a little book and for our class. And I choose Emily Dickinson, and the topic was on death, and I got an A+ on it. So, and I found out, how powerful about death is, and the poetic language. And then another time in school, we had to write in a Spanish class, write this a poem in Spanish. I don't have it now. I let her have it. My teacher wanted it. I didn't think about keep it. I may make another copy. Anyway, And she gave me an A+. She loved it.
So for you, what is it about poetry that differs from writing fiction?
Well, poetry heals. You write down how you feel, and it helps you heal no matter what you're going through, whether it's going through a death or through a bad experience, or you having a good day. It brings it brings a lot of stuff out of you, and it heals, and it saves lives.
I agree. It does save lives. So Noreen, what do you write about? What are some of the predominant themes of your work?
Well, I write different varieties, like Elizabeth Derrick Browning. I write about love, life, nature, some current events, and about what people are going through. I was told I can put myself in somebody else's shoe, don't have to be there, and then it came out, and they said it's exactly how that person is feeling, even though I didn't go through that experience.
Noreen, that's the perfect definition of empathy. When you're able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, or they put themselves in your shoes. Because as I share with people all the time, there is a universal commonality in terms of our feelings. We all know sadness. We all know joy. I may not know your specific story, and you may not know mine, but we both know the feelings that go along with the story, that undergirds the story. So that's how we build empathy. So when you write, how does a poem begin for you? With an idea, a feeling, or an image?
Usually it's an idea. It can be both too. Idea in a image.
Okay, tell me more. Flesh that out for me.
Okay, I have an idea. I might see something that on the internet or on TV that should come to me, an idea. So I start writing it, or I can see a photo or picture, and I'll start writing, and it'll come to me. And I just seen a movie, and that triggered me and made me cry too, watching that movie, and I made a poem out of it. And the same way, I seen this on YouTube about this guy named CJ helping a lot of people. And what he went through, the cops and all them trying to stop him from helping, giving out money to the people who need it out there in the parking and out in the. So that triggered a poem.
I understand. Would you please share a poem?
I can read one that is my signature poem. My late husband called it my signature poem. And it's about the fetal point of view on abortion.
Right.
Okay. It's called If You Really and Truly Love Me. Okay. Even though you can't hear me, I can hear you, Mommy. I heard you talking about aborting me and that I ain't a human being. How could you be so cruel? Oh, how I cried silently. If you really and truly love me, Mommy, let me live to see the new world. I didn't ask to be born, but since I'm still in your womb, let me come forth alive. Let me experience and see the new world. Let me taste the food and liquid that is good for me. Let me touch you and the things around me. Let me smell and breathe the air and smell the beautiful things in this new world. Let me see you and Daddy and the new world. Let me hear your soft voices and others and the noises that surround me. Let me experience the different emotions and experience life itself. If you really and truly love me, Mommy, give me a chance in this new world like your mommy gave you that chance a long time ago. Listen to my inner silent pleas. If you really and truly love me, Mommy. The end.
That's exceptionally powerful.
Wow, thank you.
Is there one line in that poem that you're most proud of writing, or one that you felt most challenged by?
The part said, I heard you talking about aborting me and that I ain't a human being. How could you be so cruel? Oh, how I cry silently.
Noreen, that was an exceptionally powerful, powerful poem. Thank you for sharing it. You know, all great writers have great writing influences. Who are some of yours? You did mention Emily Dickinson. What makes them great in your eyes?
One I can think offhand right now is Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning. And they negate my eyes because they fell in love and they both were writing poetry before they met. And they fell in love and they had the greatest love story. And they wrote each other love poems and all that. And they have so much love for each other. And her poetry is so powerful. It can speak to us now, and she don't always write about love either. She writes a different varieties of poetry too.
Anyone else?
Emily Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
I had to say her too because I learned about poetry through her when I was a teenager, Emily Dickinson.
Okay.
And Edgar Allan Poe, because we studied him too in school. Yes. Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe. What about Poe intrigued you?
How he can, like, the raven, how you should listen to the poem about the raven. It should move you. You should entranced by it. You should sit there and you can't move. You should want to hear more.
Dr. Robert Browning and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Have you ever seen the movie The Barretts of Wimpole Street? I'm referring to the 1934 version starring Norma Shear and Charles Lawton. If you've not seen that one, that's the one to see. I really want you to see it so we can talk about it. I'm going to send you a link.
I started watching it. I watched the first the part, and I had to read the second part now, the second part.
Noreen, let's imagine for a moment that writing a poem is like baking a cake. What are the ingredients that go into making a poem?
Okay, ingredients would be, your idea, and if you want to write a free verse or different forms or poetic form, and you have to get into it and make sure the areas. I think to me is quiet. I concentrate better when it's all quiet around me, and it's hard for me. It's harder. If music's on, I can't do it, so I had to be silent for me, and then a lot of paper, and then I pray too. I always pray before too, most of the time.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like that a lot. There's such power in prayer. Such power. I'm a spoken word artist. Whenever I share my work, before I share my work, I always make the following statement: God, please guide my words. I've made that statement every performance over the course of the last 30 years. So I do understand. When you write, do you sit and think through every word of every stanza, or do you write freely and allow the words to flow?
I should write freely and let the words flow. And then when I get through, and sometimes when I first put the words down, end up being the ending of it. So that it should not, it's planned, but that's what happened. I said, this got to be the end of it. But end up being the first line I wrote. And then after I write it down, and I feel like it's, then I'll read through it, and then I'll see if I have to edit what I have to edit it.
All right.
Noreen, sometimes when we write, we have a tendency to use words over and over. Are there three words that, okay, Noreen, when we write, we sometimes have a tendency to use words over and over in our poem. Are there any words that you use over and over in your poems?
Love.
Okay.
A lot of times I use teddy bear darling a lot. I try not to use the same words over and over, but sometimes. And never give up.
Never give up.
Yes. Your dreams.
And live your dreams. What about those words draw you in? That you use them more than once in your work?
Okay, like live your dreams, and I want to inspire people to not to give up, and to live your dreams, and don't matter what other people say. Don't worry what other people think. If that's what you want to do, I say go for it. And I always say over and over again, you're never too old or too young to live your dreams, no matter what it is. When I write love poems and all that, I would use word love in there a lot.
Noreen, they say that to see the world with complete honesty, one should look to comedians, artists, musicians, and poets. So what do you think emerges naturally from you when you write?
I should start writing on whatever I'm feeling at that moment and let it come out, let it flow out, and then I'll look through it again later.
So when you write, who's in the driver's seat, you or the poem?
I think in the driver's seat it'll be God. I always want him to be in the driver's seat. I feel like if God is in the driver's seat, that's my experience. If God's in the driver's seat, I feel like I can write the poetry better. But if I'm in the driver's seat, I don't think it's going to be any good. I'd rather him be in the driver's seat.
Please share another poem. I would really like to hear another poem.
And this poem, I wrote this watching the movie called The Sound of Freedom. Okay. I don't know if you heard of it or not. No. Sound of Freedom. Okay. It's on Amazon, and it came from Angels. They made this movie. Okay. Let the kids hear the sound of freedom. Wake up, people. Take your blinders off. Pay attention to your surroundings and what is going on around the world. We got to stop the human trafficking. Stop the slavery. It's worse now than it ever was. Stop them from destroying our children of this world. Save the children. Save them. Let's get together as a community, as neighbors, as family and friends, and let the perpetrators know we won't let them do this anymore. We had enough of this. We're taking our neighborhoods, our towns, our cities back. Are you with me? Did you see the pain, the hurt, the loneliness, the confusion on their faces? They're scared, and they have every right to be. Let's make this world safe for the children. They are our future. We gotta put God back in our country, in this world. Prayer is powerful. Get down on your knees, ask forgiveness, and bring these children home to their homes where they belong. God's children are not for sale. Let's stop the bickering among us and get along. Go and watch a movie, Sound of Freedom. And don't tell me it didn't stir up any emotions in you. Don't tell me it didn't make you cry. Don't tell me it didn't make you angry at these perpetrators. I understand not everyone cries, but you go and watch this movie and see if it doesn't stir up any emotions in you. The end.
Noreen, in this world, there's good, there's bad, there's ugly, as well as indifference. So what do you view as being the role of a poet in modern day society? What is our role?
Our role is to speak the truth and get our poetry out there and speak the truth and let the people know what is going on and be an activist if you can. I know not everybody's an activist, but just stand up and be the voice of the people who can't speak for themselves. You know, there's so many different people out there. They need our help. So we should be the voice and get our words out there and let the people all over the world hear them. And put your poetry out there where poetry ain't been before. And
Right.
you'll see you can make a difference.
Sometimes I question if we really make a difference. So you really think we make a difference?
I think we do make a difference.
Tell me why.
Because people are listening to our poetry, whether we know it or not. You should, and people, I know people don't always, buy poetry books and all that, but you should put your poetry out there and on different sites and everything. And people are so hungry for the truth and they're hungry for the poetry. I see that.
Does it hurt you to write poetry? If not, why not?
Yes, it does hurt to write poetry because there's some things I write about. It does make you cry, and it's just, but you have to put it out there. You might cry you have to stop and cry, and then you get your cup of coffee or something and calm down and write again. And some things will hurt, but sometimes you should have to do it and push yourself.
Are you willing to be hurt by the poetry of others? If not, why not?
Yes, you can. I can get hurt. Yes, you can get hurt by poetry by others because they speak the truth too, and because they put their word out there, and some people. Wow, and you can feel their emotions in their poetry and others' poetry, and it speaks to you, and it can make you cry what they've been through, and their experiences. Yes, it does hurt to read others' poetry because they've been through so much, and you should want to say, I am so sorry and that you've gone through this, and it hurts to see people going through bad stuff.
Yes, it does. So is writing poetry letting your guard down or building a wall?
It can be both, but
Okay.
it can be both. Like there's some poetry I have written. I did not let anybody read it, but I end up throwing it out. And other poetry, I put my guard down and it didn't bother me anymore if somebody read it.
Okay.
Like this one, the first one I read to you, if you really and truly love me, I didn't want anybody reading it because I thought, oh, the world, I'm going to get, people are going to hate me for it. Well, where I used to work at, my friend Pam, she told me, oh, she saw this poem. She said, oh my God, she said, you got to put this is when I first met Gary. And she said, you got to put this in the newspaper. And Gary said, no, we got to protect us. People are going to kill you over this poem. People are going to get upset. And I thought people were going to, well, even if I didn't want him to read it either or nobody, but they both read it. And so, and Gary said, you got to put that in your first book. So I did. And I found out people ain't angry at me for writing it and they're loving it. I have been told I should be it should be put in schools where all these teenagers to read it.
Wow.
I've been told that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh, it's nice.
Yes.
That's real nice. Wow.
Yes.
Please share another poem.
Here's one called Be a Thorn. Okay. Be different. Don't be a follower. Be a leader that everyone will respect, honor, and love. Be you. Stand up and be counted. Be a thorn in someone's side. Let that person know it isn't right. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the bully. Be a thorn in the bully's side. Speak up and be heard. Speak up. Be a thorn without violence and abuse. The end.
Noreen, here's a question. What color is poetry?
Poetry is different colors. Is pink, is red, is yellow, is brown, is black, gray, purple, white. It's all kinds of colors.
Why do you say that? It's all kinds of colors.
Because each color represents different things. A yellow represents thinking. It represents wisdom. Red it represents anger. It could represent love, romance. And black could represent, it could darkness, or it could represent good. And gray could be stand for in between. And blue is calm.
You know,
It's all different colors.
You're right, I agree. As I think about the color blue for me, it connotes most of the time sadness, depression, anxiety, because I deal with those things. So for me, the color blue, even though it's beautiful in the sky, it can still reflect a melancholy feeling in my life. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Please share another poem.
Thank you very much. This poem is called Close to Orchestra, and this is a blitz poetic form called Blitz. I learned that through Writer's Digest. And this is I wrote over 25, I think, of blitzes, and I'm going to read the very first blitz I ever wrote. This is called Close to Orchestra. Okay. Hold me tight. Hold me close. Close and firm. Close to your heart. Heart of gold. Heart beating fast. Fast and slow. Fast lovers. Lovers lane. Lovers forever. Forever will be true. Forever I'll love you. You are my world. You are precious. Precious as a gem. Precious as poems. Poems from the heart. Poems of love. Love me tender. Love so true. True to my word. True as vows. Vows of marriage. Vows unbroken. Unbroken heart. Unbroken promises. Promises of success. Promises of marriage. Marriage and love. Marriage is give and take. Take me as I am. Take me now. Now is the time. Now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be here. Tomorrow might come. Come with me. Come here. Here it is. Here's my key. Key to my heart. Key to my soul. Key to my soul and spirit. Soulmate for life. Life is grand. Life like an orchestra. Orchestra music is beautiful. Orchestra music like love. Love, beautiful. The end.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you.
It really is.
Noreen, many poets draw upon personal experiences to craft their poetry. From what I've heard so far, much of your poetry is autobiographical. So how do you balance your own personal emotions with the universal themes that you also talk about? How do you do that?
Some are autobiographical and others are themes. I don't know where the ideas come from. My mom asked me that, where do you get these ideas? All I can say is got to be from God. That's the only thing I can think of. And I might just sit here and drink a cup of coffee or something, and something comes to me. I say, oh my, I have to write it down. And sometimes it flow. It might take me 5 minutes to write something. And other days it might take me 2 or 3.
As I'm listening to you, it makes me wonder, do you live your life like it's a poem?
I try to. I try to live like poetry, because poetry is about life, about living, and I should try to do it to live by the poetry. And I think life is poetic if you let it be, and if that's what you want.
Noreen, you've written 5 books. and have been published in anthologies and other magazines. What would you tell aspiring writers about the writing process?
Okay. The process of writing, you should, you sit down, you think of, what you want to write about, and what ideas you got in your mind. You should start writing and let it flow out of you. And then, and if you have in mind a poetic form, I would, sometimes I use a dictionary or my thesaurus and write down different words, and for that one word, or I go to rhyming zone if I need a rhyming word, like sonnets. If I want to write a sonnet, then I would sit there and start writing at least 2 lines. Then I look and I count my syllables to see which one is the 10th one. And then I would go in the rhyme zone and count look the words up and see which one rhymes. And sometimes I might have to change it and start it again.
Are you friends with other authors, other poets?
Yes.
And how do they help you become a better writer?
Because I read their poetry. I listen to what they have to say and their ideas. What would I give up?
Yes.
Okay. I would give up sleep. I would give up coffee so I can be a better writer.
You give up coffee? Wow.
Yes, to become a better writer.
I mean, some people depend on coffee like it's water.
Yes. Yes. Because I drink a lot of coffee myself, but I would be willing to, even though I drink a lot of coffee myself throughout the day, but I still be willing to give it up to become a better writer. Because I always want to learn, and I want to be a better poet, and where I can inspire someone to write too.
How will you know that you're a better poet?
Is it based on being able to inspire someone, or is it a feeling that you'll have that you're a better poet?
It would be coming from other people, what other people say. I go by what other people say. And that's how I know I was a poet. I went by what my mom said, what Gary said, and even what this one cop said when I was 16 years old. He told me, why did you want to try suicide when you look at you? My mama showed him my poetry. He said, you're going to be a poet one day. I didn't believe in myself back then.
I understand.
Yeah.
If you could tell your younger writing self anything, what would you say?
I would tell my younger self not to give up. So don't think of them thoughts. And so what if somebody called you ugly or they said something bad to you? Should let it go, and should write it down in poetry and go ahead. It's okay to cry and let it out. And if even people don't like you, it's okay, and should pray, which I didn't them days. If I only would pray, I think and I would listen and yeah.
Wow. That what you just shared could have been my story, because I was very overweight growing up, and I got bullied a lot for being overweight. Do you remember the cartoon Fat Albert? You remember that one?
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
I wasn't that big, but I was big enough. And words do hurt. They say sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's not always true.
No, it's not.
It's not
Words do
true.
hurt. Words do hurt. And words, when you were learning when you were a kid, it will go to you in adult most of the time. I believe that.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
I think I'd like you to share another poem.
And this poem is called The Sacred Bed. And this is how this came about, because there's having a open poetry slam. I never been to one. I never did one on the internet. And I thought I want to join. So I told Tammy, and Gary did that. He was so happy for me. And so was Nyla, Alicia, and a lot of them was. And so Gary helped me, where I can recite this poem. He said, "This is really awesome. I didn't win, but I lost, but that's okay. Because I didn't know what I listened to what they said to listen to, but this is what I came up with. Right. But I don't think that's what they meant when I wrote it. What they want, but still, I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I enjoyed it. It was something once in a lifetime for me. And it's called The Sacred Bed. Okay. And this is like the bed is talking. The sacred bed is talking.
All right.
Okay. I remember the first night you and your partner laid on me. Oh, how blissful you two looked. You all made love, passionate love, every night and every morning and every chance you two had. It went on for years. You two brought sunshine into the room. And oh, how happy I was. I was so honored to be a witness to the both of your happiness. I just want to shout and sing for joy and beat those drums. The two of you were always singing love songs to each other. You two were the kindest, romantic, and loving couple I have ever seen. One night, without any warning, you had a new lover and had sex right on me. You lied to your partner and cheated. Oh my heart went to my stomach. I was sick and disgusted. No more sunshine, no more happiness for me. It became dark of despair. No more passionate loving, no more happiness, no more kind words, no more romance between you and your partner. Instead, arguments, yelling matches, I don't care attitude. I despise you now. You no longer see me as sacred, the sacred bed, just a piece of trash, a piece of junk. The end.
Oh. I don't know what to say. Should have won that contest. You should have won that slam. That's good.
I knew I wouldn't win because Jamie Bond was there, and she was really, really good. I hear she wins all the time on the end of the slam, so I knew I couldn't beat her. None of them. Cause this was my very first time.
Very nice. Now, I'd like you to share with me the titles of 5 of your poems. Any 5.
Okay. Sonnet 1, Close to the Orchestra. And one called CJ. That's Nature's Silent Cry.
All right.
If You Really and Truly Love Me.
All right.
Well, let me ask you, what role should a title play when you're writing a poem? How important is the title?
Well, it depends on it can be important, and I know to me it should be important, but I know some poetry I don't have a title for it, but I think it helps to have a title for it.
Why? Why does that help?
Because it'll give you an idea what the poem is about.
Right. All right.
But I don't think it's that important. Like, I think, who was it that didn't have any titles, but they're still awesome? Emily Dickinson, I don't think she had titles to her poetry, but her poetry is, really awesome. She's very talented.
What about E.E. Cummings? Did he have titles?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember if he has titles or not.
Yes, I always thought he was fascinating for so many reasons, one of which is that he spelled his name in a lowercase fashion.
Yes, yes, yes,
She stands out.
yes, yes, that stands out.
Let me ask you a question. Based on what you know about the world, what you know about poetry, what do you think makes poets different from other people?
Because we know the truth, and we're the voice for the people, and we try to inspire others in life, and and some people who are not poets usually don't know, truth, what's going on, and and like what was her name, Phyllis Wheatley. Well, she
Yes.
spoke the truth when she was back in her days, and we learned a lot from her, by her
Yes.
poetry, and we learned that the way you hear about the world, well, what she had to say, hers was the truth. So we know it's a lot different. So it was important for us to put our voices out.
When you write poetry, what are you attempting to convey to the world through your work?
I want to convey my writing to the world, to never give up, and to inspire other people. And whatever you're going through, there's somebody else there worse than you. And if you write and put your words down, it can heal. It will heal. It helps you heal.
You know, Noreen, I've been listening to you, and some of the words that you've shared over and over again are the importance of never giving up, never allowing anyone to mold or shape you. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but why is this so important to you that you do not allow others to dictate who you are as a person?
That's important because if you let people say you're not going to be happy when you get older. You're not going to be happy if you listen to what other people say. They want you to do this, what you want to do this. And then when you get older, and if you're close to your deathbed, then you're going to regret it. You say, well, I wish I did this. I wish I did this, but it didn't be too late. So I would say, don't worry what others think. Just go for it. It's very important to live your life the way you want to live and not worry what others say.
Now, I know that you're planning to write a book about grieving, caregiving, grief. Tell me more.
Yes, I'm going to write, yes. About the grieving, I still got to get that. I'm getting back into it. I'm waiting after. I'm going to get back into that next week. Because right now I've been going through the pulmonary rehab, and Thursday is my last day. So after that, I'll start getting back into it. And then my Papa Pal, and if I get this done in May, the poetry typed up and printed out, then she's going to help me, and then help me and pick 63 out of the 88 or 89 I have for it.
The reason that I ask is that I plan to host a poetry reading that revolves around grieving, grief, and caregiving. It's such a powerful topic that people don't often want to talk about. There's this stigma that you shouldn't share your feelings because if it's your family, then you should take care of them, not have any concerns, never express any sort of feelings. But sometimes those feelings are inside of us and we need to let them out. We need to vent. So I want to provide a forum for people to talk about these things, and I'd like you to work with me.
Oh, wow. I would love to.
Yes.
Wow, that's an honor. I don't know why people should want to talk about it. Because I know I kept everything to myself when I was, because I used to want to help, because I wanted to bring them home. And it really upset me when they would not let me bring them home. They told me I was not strong enough. And I even quit smoking cigarettes. I thought if I quit smoking cigarettes, I'll be stronger, but it don't work that way. And then finally they said, well, if you have somebody living with you, a nurse, But Gary said, no, he don't want no third person staying with us.
Okay.
So that's why so he didn't like that. And it was hard because it was so shameful because I couldn't bring him home. And because we took our wedding vow seriously to take care of each other till death do us part. And I couldn't do that. And I couldn't be home and take care of him. That's what I wanted to do. And they couldn't understand that. They said, it'd be too much for you. You can't do it. I knew they were right because one day I brought him home for the day. And after we had the wheelchair ramp up. And I couldn't get him to stand up. And it was sweating. My whole face was sweating. And I was there for over 30 minutes trying to get him to stand up and help him. And I couldn't. I was so ashamed. Finally, I told him, can I call someone to help us? And I didn't want to do that, but I could hardly, I was just wet in the storm. My hair was all wet from sweating. And I tried. It was very hard. It was very, very hard to even ask for help.
Yes, I understand. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yes, thank you.
What do you think makes your writing unique and different from others? What do you bring to the table that's different?
I don't know if I'd bring anything different than what others write.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
I think I do, because I've been told I do.
Okay. What have you been told? What did they share with you?
That I inspire. They said I inspire people, and like that one guy told me that he was interested in poetry now because of me sharing to my poetry on there on Catchwalk. But I don't know if I do anything different from other people. I should write, how I feel, but I don't think I'm better than anybody. Sometimes I feel like I'm having a hard time, but I try not to think that. I got a bad habit of comparing myself to others and saying, oh, I'm not good. I'm not good enough like they are, but I'm trying really hard to not to do that anymore because I know we're not supposed to do that because everybody writes different. Everybody got their own right way of writing.
I do the same thing. I think many people do in terms of comparing themselves to others. Someone said to me years ago that when you think the grass is greener on the other side, sometimes that grass is painted green. So it looks good, but it's not real. It's not real. People are dealing with so much and they wear masks. People wear masks.
I think we shouldn't keep a mask on, let people see who we are for real. And we'll be surprised how people accept us. I know, there's some part of my life, I don't let it out to anybody. Jerry knows everything about my whole life, more than my family does. And he didn't put a chain. He wasn't ashamed of me at all. And he was so angry. He said, you need to write a book. And I haven't done it yet. He wants me to write a book and put my life out there. He said, you got to let people know what you've been through. You could help so many people. But I only told 2 other poets, but it's very, very hard to talk about because, because I never thought this could happen to me, but I know it can happen. And it did. And it can happen to other people. But it's very, very hard to talk about. That was in 1979.
And see, that's another thing about poetry.
That's the great thing about poetry. You don't always need to share your work with others, but finding a way that you can release that stuff from your body, just some way to be able to release those thoughts, those feelings, and you can come back to it later and read it and look at it from an objective fashion. That's why poetry is important because it gives you a way to vent your feelings in a manner that is constructive and not destructive. Noreen, please share another poem.
And here's another lyrics I wrote called Poets for Change. Okay. Here we are. Here comes a poet. Poets make a difference. Poets tell the truth or a lie. Truth can hurt sometimes. Sometimes we be still. Sometimes we need to listen. Listen to what they say. Listen up now and forever. Now let's not forget. Forget not the poets. Forget not what you hear. Hear us out. Hear the poets talk. Talk about change. Talk about life. Life or death. Life is what you make of it. It is about making a difference. It happens all over the world. World is waiting for answers. World is waiting for you. You are the one. You can make it happen. Happen to be now. Happen to be here. Here to be doer. Here to be for all. All want change. All we want is peace. Peace for you and I. Peace for the world. World is ready for us. World, here we come. Come and make a difference. Come and listen to poets. Poets express themselves. Poets want the truth. Truth must be told. Truth or dare. Dare is not. Dare not lie. Lie not to us. Lie no. Yes to change. Change the world and listen. Change not the truth. Truth, listen. The end.
Noreen, I really like your work. Your poetry is insightful. It's well written. It's authentic. And there's a message. Do you think you were destined to be a poet?
I've been thinking about that. Yes, I think I was, because I started writing. Somehow I always loved to read. When I was a kid, I always loved to read, and so yes, I'm destined to be I think I was destined to be a poet.
What do you think you've learned about yourself as a result of being a poet?
I am me, and I learned that it's okay, okay to let yourself out there. It's okay to write how you feel and to share your poetry, and not to give up. And it's okay. And not everybody's going to like your poetry. So, and you're going to find some people who don't like it, and it's okay too. But there's others you're going to share them with, and they're going to love your poetry, and you can make a difference in somebody's life. You could even save somebody's life.
Where do you go from here? What's next for you creatively?
Okay. From here, I'm going to write this book, and I'm going to push more harder on my Ko-Fi and get that out there and make more greeting cards. Right now, I do have an order I got to fill up, and I want to push it harder on that and get my stuff out there and make more greeting cards and magnets and coasters. And
well, I collect refrigerator magnets, so I need to see your collection. I may want to buy some.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Noreen, you've written 5 books. Where can we purchase them? Where can we purchase your work?
Yeah. Okay, you can put if you don't want no signature, you can get on Amazon. But if you want a signature, you can get on my copies site. And I have them out there too, on there. Or you can get it directly from me. It doesn't matter. If you get it directly from me, you get a signature, or in coffee, you get a signature, but not on Amazon.
Noreen, we've reached the end of our poetic journey. And I'd like to thank you for being my guest. You are a superstar. You are a gift from God to the poetic universe. I think you're incredible, and I am so glad that our paths have crossed. I wish you nothing but continued success.
Wow. And I want to thank you for having me. And it was my pleasure to be here. And wow. And you're awesome poet. And so thank you very much. An awesome host. And thank you for having me here.
Are you still nervous and anxious?
No. I'm calm now, and I feel good. I'm not afraid.
I really do like your work. I really, really do.
Wow, thank you.
And I've talked to a lot of people.
Still craving poetry? Hundreds of episodes of the Quintessential Listening Poetry online radio and YouTube podcast are available to listen to or download on iTunes, Spotify, and other streaming platforms. To learn more about the popular podcast or how to become a guest, visit www.QLPORYT.com. Till next time, take care and let poetry ring somewhere throughout the land.